Hello and welcome back. It's been a while. I've only got the one monitor, so if I switch back to this and you see the matrix, I do apologize. I'm waiting to get a new monitor because I've got my new office and it's fantastic. Today we are going to be looking at the Ploi Roadmap package, or not really a package, is it? It's more of a software. What it allows you to do is have a public roadmap for your product, for your business, whatever that might be. And I've recently joined Dennis as a contributor. I've got a local copy here. Here's the one for Ploi itself, where you can see lots of cool stuff's going on. And we're going to be looking into it and working on it today. So let me zoom in a little bit so it's a bit bigger, and let's just focus on the code. So it's a Laravel package. I've got npm running, so all of my Vite stuff is handled. What I need to do is install the roadmap. Yes, I want to run them. Now I need to create my user. So I could say, my name is Steve McDougall. My email is, I can never spell my name. What computer am I on? gmail.com and password. Yes, link the storage. No, I don't need to run that. Don't need to star it. And there we go. So now if I reload and go to admin, I should be able to log in with my details. Oh, it's been a while since I've live streamed. I can't even remember how to type. I'm pretty sure I did my password correct. Log in. I did something wrong. A migrate and fresh. I'm pretty sure there is a simple command for this. Let me see if we could zoom in so you can all see. Let me see this chat. Questions about how Ploi helps. The best person to ask about Ploi would be Dennis, not me. I'm not affiliated with Ploi. Definitely recommend it, but I don't know enough about it to make any recommendations here. So I could probably just make a filament user to access that. But what we'll do is we are going to roadmap install again. No, don't want to run those. So Steve Google, just Steve at gmail.com, and password. Don't want to run that. Don't need to do that. Admin redirected to here. So let's just see what happens if I try and log in. This might be my local setup being silly. Yeah, it's not liking me. Okay, so I'm just going to register again. Email's already been taken. Ooh, okay, so something funky dunky is going on. So we're going to migrate fresh. We're good. And what we'll do is do that again. Okay, so the emailing I haven't sorted out because I'm not running MailHog. So let's just open up the EMV and make sure that mail, where are your emails? Mailer. We're just going to log. Log in. Hopefully this now works. I can type my email correctly. "403 forbidden." Cool. So now I can come over. Let's just connect up our database. I'm using a SQLite database. Where are we? Where are we? Herd, roadmap, database, SQLite, apply and go. So let's go check out the users table and see what is going on. So email verified. I'm just going to save that. I'm verified. Notifications, role. I'm just going to put myself down as an admin. And let's see if I can now access it. Voila! Any comments on it? Yes, that's my bad. I'm doing it locally with SQLite because it's just so much easier for me. Right, okay, so what you can do, you can create projects. So I'm going to create a new project, test project, and we're going to group this with like phase 1 or MVP. Ooh. MVP test project icon. We're going to use, I don't know, code square brackets, not private, no GitHub repository. I'm not going to worry about that. I've linked up GitHub, so I'm able to do that, but you don't need to do that. This is the content for the project. It is awesome. What do I need to do? Under review, planned, in progress, live, closed, create. So now if I just kind of go back to public view, I can come here and see what's under review. I can submit an item, test item for review. This is a test item. Confirm. I've got a test item. So now what I should be able to do is come back to here. This should be probably something to do with admin. Items, no items, projects, comments, test item for review. What can I do? That's a vote. Okay, so then I can go and say new item, project, board, test item. Just trying to understand how I use this. And then we'll get to doing stuff. View public. We've got a test item, test project, test item, comment, private notes. Awesome, we've got activity going on, edit as admin, no votes yet. We can click downvote, That's kind of cool. We can, that isn't being picked up, but we can worry about that later. That's me, here's some admin stuff. Tags, we're just gonna say Laravel 11. Well, I don't know what changelog is, but let's do it. Laravel 11, cool. Theme, logo, favicon, primary colors, font family. We're going to say Roboto. Go back to this public view. Nope, public view there. Cool. So my items, test item for review and test item, voted items, what's been voted on. We can come and have a look, and we can just kind of discuss what's going on, where it's going on, and why it's going on. So now that that part is set up, let's have a quick look at the code. So what I like to do is start with the roots, the web roots. We've got OAuth login and OAuth callback, which will redirect to, got a construct for that, redirect to provider, passing through the provider, handle provider callback, user social query, doing some stuff, mark email verified, logging them in. Lots of cool stuff going on. So login form, cool, forcing this SSO, password protection, lots of stuff going on, homepage, changelog. So if we go to like changelog, how can we find the changelog? Nothing there. Not able to find that page for some reason. So if we come to changelog controller, abort unless general settings enable changelog. So this is a settings thing. So settings, changelog, enable changelog, save changes, reload. Nothing here yet. Cool. So we got some stuff. Let's go back to the code. Changelog controller, show, abort if, publish now. Okay. Cool. Cool. Projects, items, email verification, mention search, unsubscribing, sitemaps. Okay, cool. So we've got some useful stuff for what you do in a typical roadmap. And what I think would be super useful is if I could have an API. It's me. Let me see if there's anything I need to catch up on. Yo, everybody, how are we all doing? Whoa, the Matrix has landed. I need to get a new monitor, so I've got two again. It's frustrating. Let's clear those. I've got an update, but I'll worry about that later. So API. I've added the OAuth stuff. Laravel, PHP CS fixes. We're going to complain about that, so I'm just going to do that. So API, we want an API. And with a roadmap, what's likely to happen is you're going to want to see projects, a list of projects that are available and the items within that. And maybe it's mainly a read sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to flesh it out in Aspen quick. We're just going to say HTTP, we're just going to say roadmap.test, and we're going to say API v1 projects. So I want to see all of the projects. And the key for headers, we're going to say that we have content type, and that will be application JSON, and we want to accept application JSON as well. So if I send that quickly, we're going to get a 404. Kind of expected that. So underneath all of this, I'm going to start fleshing out some routes. So we're going to prefix this with a v1, and then we're just going to group everything. We'll do a static function, void return. Here are our v1 routes. So I'm going to assume that we don't need to authenticate for some of this because it's mostly I want to be able to read from the endpoints. So root, prefix, projects. We're going to group there. Again, static function. So once we've got projects, we want to do a quick group get. Do the first / and we're just going to name this index. Means we need a name down here. We do as projects, and v1 is going to also include the name. So as v1, And for this, we probably want to open up the root service provider prefix, and we're going to add an as here. We're just going to say API. So now if we do a quick root list, we should get, if we just kind of grep for API. So we've got API users there, generated thing. Nothing's really been added here. So let's go into our HTTP controllers. Got an API controller there. So I'm going to create a new projects directory, and we're just going to add an invocable controller in here. So index controller. We're going to say public function invoke, and this will accept a request, and it will return something soon. But first off, I want to say index controller. And I just want to pull in, actually, I want to version this. So I need a new v1 directory, and we're just going to move all of that in there and just make sure that namespace is fixed. Yeah, it is. Cool. So I want to pull that in as a namespace. Just sort that out. And then we can say, there we go, v1. Darn it. Oh, you can tell I've not live streamed in a while because I've got no idea what I'm really doing today. There we go. That should resolve it. So now I click there and I got it. Cool. So come back to Aspen. We're going to resend it. We're still getting a 404, but that's not a big deal. API v1 projects. API v1 projects. Come to here. And we're just going to return a new JSON response. The data is foo bar. Let's just make sure this is actually working. API v1 projects, and has it got some strictness on the slashes? No. It looks like something is gone wonky with Aspen. So I'm just going to quit Aspen and we're just going to use curl. So HTTP get HTTP not s roadmap.test API v1 projects. We got it. Okay. Ooh, that's just giving me something funky. Okay. There we go. Do that. This is then going to return a JSON response. And what we want to do, we want to be able to test this. Anything that we add, we want to test. So tests, it's using pest, which is useful. And I'm just going to create a new directory here for the API. And we're going to create, we should probably split these as we grow. So we're going to create a projects test. I'm going to declare strict types because I'm Steve. So we want to test that we can get a list of all projects. Thank you, whatever that is. PHP Storm AI stuff. So we want to get some JSON. Let's just simplify that one. The URL, or URI, sorry, that we want to use action helper, and we're going to use that index controller, and we're just going to simplify that one. And we want to assert status OK. So we're just going to use that response helper from Symfony, HTTP. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that what I'm testing is, I'm not installing additional packages if I can help it. So a test group API. Action index controller not defined. I think that might be something to do with the autoloader, maybe. Something's gone on. Ooh. Index controller is not defined. App HTTP controllers API v1 projects. API v1 projects index controller. I can click through. That is all working. Here's the update. Something's broken. What have I done? What is the goal? Yeah, I'm helping maintain this. I just wanted to help maintain something, so that's what I'm doing. So let's try a test in group again. And there we go. Something had gone winky donkey, which means Aspen probably also works, but we'll come back to Aspen the next time. So in our index controller, we've got projects. And what we want to do is check the providers for the projects so we can view any. We've got some stuff going on, user role admin and user role employee. This is assuming logged in, I think. What's going on there? Just close that. Try it again. There we go. So if I just log out, confirm, I can see projects. So there's nothing stopping it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this. Here we go. API v1 projects. There we go. We've got foo and bar. We're good. So what we want to do is we want to get all projects. Let's close that off. I can't see anything to do with repositories or anything like that. So I'm assuming from the looks of this, we're just directly using the query builder and we're good, which is great. Find or fail, that's using slugs, that's cool. With popular items. For itself, item sort by. Okay, so we want to get all projects. For now, we're going to replicate some query stuff. So projects is going to be project query latest, and we're just going to keep it simple to start with, and we'll refactor where we need to. So we have projects, and we will be using projects. So we have a project. That works. But when we're building an API, we need to use like an API resource in reality. So a make resource, we're going to put it under v1. I'm going to say project resource. So these projects here, we're going to use the project resource collection where the resource is going to be the projects. So now if we come back, refresh, same thing. Let's just clean this up. We're going to add a property for the project as the resource. That should help that one. And now let's open up our project model. We've got title, slug, group, icon, URL, description, repo, private, sort order. Okay, so what we want to do is where private is false. We want to make sure that we're not showing private projects. Don't know what, oh, wait, that. Okay, so we're going to have an ID, this resource ID. So a title or a name, title. So the project title will be here. So this resource title. Let's just refresh. Now we're getting somewhere. So we put that there. Going to put this over this side. We're just going to fill it out for now. This resource. We're going to want the slug as well. So we can just say this resource slug. Make sure we're loading. We're all good. Group. We're just going to load it all. I'm not going to keep repeating that bit. Icon. Icon. And say description. This. Why do I always put a dot? Resource. Description. URL. This resource URL. Repo. This resource repo. And for now, I'll leave it at that. So we've got everything that we want there. We've got an icon, a description, all the good stuff to group. Nice. So where false and where true. Yeah, that would kind of be cool. Be cool to see what could be done, right? So one thing that's bugging me is it's pretty much going to be very similar to this. Now, there's a few different ways we could do this. And I think maybe something like the repository pattern could be useful because we've got two different access points that are going to want to do similar sort of queries. So let's create a new repositories. I'm just going to create a project repository for now. So we want a project repository. And what we're going to do is have a public function query, which is going to return a builder. And this will return project query. That's how we start it. So we'll put the repository over here and we'll build this as we need it. If we're going to use something like this, we want to use dependency injection. So we can use construct and say private read-only project repository as repository and make that read-only. So we've got the repository, and what we're going to want to do is public function list, which is going to return that will return a builder. And there's a reason for this. So we'll say return this query where, actually we'll skip that. It's going to return this query for now, maybe latest. So then this can be this repository where private So this repository list where private and get. So that shouldn't change. That's not changing at all. That is what we want at this point. So the repository is something that we'll build up. So we're going to do a where, get. There we go. So we're on a list where get. And that bit is fine. So we've got a way to start our query in a kind of repetitive way, and then we can start filtering. So we want to open up that test. So we can get a list of all projects. And then we want to test that we cannot get a project that is private. Void, there we go. Again, we'll group this for the API. So projects, factory, count. We are going to create 4 private projects. And we're going to create 2 non-private. So at this point, we can just go and create stuff. Now we're going to do the same thing. We want to make sure we are getting JSON and everything is all working. Test group for the API. Cool, we're good. So at this point, we want to assert JSON. We're going to have a callable in there, which is assertable JSON. We can just simplify that one. And then this will say JSON should have 4 projects that are 2 projects that are not private. So test again, and we're good. We can say where, actually we're doing it each. Assertable JSON as JSON again. And what we want to do now is say JSON is going to remove that. So we're going to want it in here. Where not private. Good. And let's test again. One failed, blah, blah, blah. Failed assertion that false is true. Projects.private does not exist. Oh, we're not passing that back. Okay, so what are we going to be having? I don't know. Where like repo is null because we're not setting it. Let's test that. And property projects.repo. All right, so something funky is going on there. What am I getting back? Getting an array of arrays. Okay, we'll worry about that in a minute. So index controller, we've got our stuff. Come into here. Now we want to kind of structure it a little bit. So the ID isn't actually useful because we don't root using it. We root using the slug. So if we refresh, we've got a slug, a title, a group. Now, we could pull in a package and have some like JSON API magic going on, but do we need it? I'm not sure. Probably not. Icons probably not super useful, but we'll keep it. URL and repo. We'll keep project. We've probably got some boards. So I'm just going to quickly add many there. This has many boards. So we're going to want a make resource. And we're going to create a board resource. So let's open up the board resource. And let's just go have a look at boards. The property board for the resource. Let's just do that for now. So a board, again, has a slug. So we're going to have a slug title. Why am I just writing slug? Oh God, it's going to be one of those days. This resource slug. This resource title. Description. We're going to say this resource description. For now, I'm just going to leave it at that and just get it loading in. So we're going to have some boards. So this, when loaded, relationship is going to be boards. But that needs to be passed in to board resource collection. And the resource is that. Now, if we go back, we shouldn't have it. What we want to do, we just want to accept it. Now, there is a sparsely package for this. But I don't want to use it. So I want to see what we can do without packages. So includes, and what we want to do is request get includes, and the default is going to be an array. But we want to make sure that we do cast that as an array. So when we come over to our repository, we're going to have an array for includes. Don't need to add a default. And what we want to do is say with includes. Come back, refresh, and what we'll do is say includes boards. There we go, we're getting boards. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Right, so next, what we probably want to do is we want to look at some sort of dynamic filtering. Anything need to be done? No. Subtitle. There's no subtitle. Who needs subtitles? Am I not speaking English enough? Or loud enough? I don't know. But let me check my settings. Audio, blah, blah, blah. Sure, Mike. Yes, it should be picking me up. We should be good. Right, okay. So, let me change how I'm sitting again. Right. So, this repository list, we're going to pass in some includes, do a quick where clause, and then we're just going to get all the good stuff. And then we're just going to return that as a JSON response. And that is all good. So let me just be a Steve and say, we want to make sure that we are saying HTTP OK. All good, all good, all good. Right. Okay, so we want to include that. We probably want to do some sort of filtering. We want to force that. So filters. The filters that are going to come in, if we look at the project, we're going to have things like group, perhaps, or repo. So to get those filters, what we're going to want to do is build some sort of query parameter parsing. And in reality, if we come over to like here, we might eventually want to add some sort of filtering. You know, on the dashboard, we load a default project and add filters, who knows? But on an API, we always want to be able to filter. So we want to be able to build up a query. So I wrote something not too long ago, tappable query scopes. There it is. So enhanced level query scopes with tappable query scopes. So we got like matching email. We're going to tap for a matching email, blah, blah, blah. Query tap. This was all based off of this. And it was a really cool idea. And I just kind of ran with it. And what it allows is, add build a macro for filter, and then we filter based on stuff coming in. So if we come back, we're going to come to the providers for the app, and we're just going to add a builder macro quickly. And this will be the Eloquent builder. Filter, collect scopes, this tap, turn this. You know, I'm not super worried about that. Okay, so once we've got that, it means that we can say, filter. So inside our repository, once we've got our list, we're going to want to be able to filter. So public function filter. And this, again, will release a builder. And do some magic. So it's going to need to accept a builder in. And then it's going to need to eventually return that builder as well. So we're going to have to programmatically build this up. So we're going to say something like query is that. Projects is going to be query where. Let's just make this a little bit cleaner to kind of get some visual understanding of what's going on. How I like to write code anyway. Then we've got a value there. And then we can just do that. So we've got our query started. This repository list, we could probably just clean that up a little bit. Then we've got this where going on here. So build the query, start the filtering. What we want to do is we want to now, wow, wrong keys, build mappable queries from request parameters. So let's start looking at some filters. So if we go to models, we're just going to create a new directory in here called filters. And we're going to create our first filter for the project as like group filter. group filter. Come back to here. These should look a little bit like this. So it gets some form of argument, and then it invokes on the builder. So if we just add that for now, the builder is going to be like the query builder. Eloquent. So we want to group. That'll be read-only string group, where group is group. And we'll just fix that. And that can be a read-only class. So it's quite simple. Anything with a group, we can apply this filter. So to be kind of slow about it, we can say like if request has like group, we can say query filter, or right. We'll find a nicer way to do this a little bit later. For this repository filter, the builder is the query, and then we want to be able to pass in a filter. So we're going to pass in, for now, we're just doing object for the filter. And then we can say builder filter on the filter. I'm completely making this up as I go along, by the way, so please bear that in mind. And the filter, new group filter, where the group is request string group to string. So that is the first one done. So now if we come back, refresh that, include boards. If request has group, do that, and then we're going to do all of this stuff there. Why is that not coming back with anything? Let me go and check pest, refresh database. Why is that not being shown? It's there. It's not here. Let's just projects. Okay, just drop that. A second. We'll worry about with privacy in a minute, and we can say something like group is MVP. MVP. Okay, so something super buggered up there. Let's walk through it. So we've got a query, we're getting a repository list, and we get a builder back. If we have a group, we're going to rebuild that query by passing it in. We will then do its filter. Let's just go and make sure I'm doing this correctly. Query tap. Tap, 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 filter, filter, filter. Okay, so I'm just going to do a tap instead of that. We want to tap that. Yeah, that's just super weird. That is like really, really strange. So group filter. So here, what we'll do is just do a quick dime dump on this, make sure it's showing up. Yes, it is. This group not going to give us what we want back. Nothing is coming back. This, what we're getting for this group, we get an MVP. Got a group. If we come to the projects, make sure that's all right. So group MVP. That's okay. So it's automatically lowercasing it, which is a bit of a pain. What do we do? Where, I don't know, column. Let's do a quick look at this. Operator like, maybe. Let's see if that actually does anything. Okay, so we're going to have to do a like query because of the case insensitive stuff. For now, we can worry about it in a little while. If I grab that, I mean, I suppose we could like do that and yeah, see what happens. Let me know if you think there's a better way to do this bit. Case insensitive stuff, it's automatically being lowercased, bit of a pain. What can we do? So the group filter is working. We might have something for the repo. We might not. So let's create another filter for like repo filter. Again, this is a packable scope, so we can do a quick construct, and we're going to say private read-only string repo public function invoke. We're going to get a builder instance injected into that, and we're going to return a builder back. So we can return builder where repo is repo. And again, that's probably going to do some case insensitive stuff, but we'll think on that one. So there's a repo filter, repository filter, and then we can do like if request has repo, query is this the repository filter. Again, we're going to say builder query, and the filter is a new repo filter. The repo is request string to string to string, bring a string string. Cool. So we can do all of that stuff. And we could probably get rid of that temporary variable by saying just kind of query get instead. removes the need for that. So we can, pass includes and start filtering. That is a good start. Any comments? Any comments? Not yet. All good. How long have I been streaming for? Almost an hour. That's not bad. So group is MVP. No, what happens if I say like repo is null? Nothing, because it's passing as a string. Okay, so projects. We can show projects. We got some rudimentary filtering going on. That's kind of okay with me. We can get a project. We cannot get a project that is private. Okay, so we want to force this. So I'm going to say like where private is false. All good. So I'm forcing that down here because I want to make sure that we only show public projects that are on the kind of like read-only API aspect. Now, one thing that we're not doing here is rate limiting, and rate limiting is important. So if we go to like the Laravel docs, and we're just going to search for rate limiting. So to do basic usage, rate limiter, attempt, there is rate limiting on the routing. There we go. This is what I want. Defining rate limiters. So for the API, we've got a default one there, but I don't know if our root service provider did one. Yeah, we've got a basic one of per minute 60 base per user ID or the IP. That, that works. And my usual habit of leaving a file better than I found it is in effect. I'm not going to, I'm on 8.3, but this is an 8.2 app, so we're just going to do it this way. We're just going to bar string it. Static, and it's got a limit. And what we'll do is convert it to that. So then we can say that name is API, and the call back is that. We can say max attempts is 60, and the key is going to be this. Complaining, fix our file, all good. Right, all that's fine, all that's fine. Declare some strict types, and we're really good at this point. Just minor things that need making a little bit nicer for me because I'm picky. Group of the base path. There we go. So that's all that. That's configuring the rate limiting, blah, blah, blah. So we do have a rate limiter in effect, which is good. So this is, right, we're just going to put do not disturb back on a second. Close all of those down, all tabs in group. Projects test. Cannot get a project that is private. So a test, group API, exercise 2. Okay, so why is that? What's going on? Why is it being a silly sausage? It's being a silly sausage. Not sure. I think that's local setup. I'm not going to worry. So let's go now to the next endpoint that we're going to want to do. And that will be like showing a project. So we're going to do a root get, and pass through like a slug. And the name will be show. We're going to need a controller for this. So we can come to HTTP controllers, API v1 projects, and add a show controller. This show controller again will be invocable. So public function invoke, get request, and then string slug. This will want to return a JSON response. And now we're going to return a new JSON response and just link it up. So you can say v1 projects, go controller, job's good. So we can just grab this and we should be able to just hit that. Perfect. So we're going to want to return data and the project is going to be a new project resource. The resource is something which we will define. Excellent. So now we want to look based on that. So public function, let's pull in our repository again. Private read-only project repository as repository. We can make that read-only and we can fix the whole file, which means that our project is going to be this repository query where slug is slug, first or fail. Let's do something simple for now. And then we've got the project there. And we've got our project. We can view it. We can go back, projects, and projects. We can loop through these quite nicely. Again, we're going to want to do some form of includes and that sort of stuff. This is where the sparsity package really is helpful, but I am trying to do a packageless approach. So, like the index controller, what we want to do is that's a group list based on that. Show. So we're just going to say we're going to build up the query again. Query, blah, blah, blah. There. Then we say query first or fail down here, and that should handle it. But what I'm also going to do, because this is still that public aspect, we want to say where the column private is still false. Yeah, something died. And let's just say our project is that. Then we'll just move this to be the project again. MVP test project. Something is going on with that part. Don't get a page not found. Weird. A root list. Grep for the API. Project slug, project show. Weird. Weird. What's going on with Laravel? Heard today. So we've got show controller, repository in, we're going to query. We could probably do a if request has includes, let me say query equals, let's do like a query with request get includes pass a default as an array, leave it at that. I don't get what's going on here. Something funky donkey is going on that's tripping everything over, and I cannot see it. Right, okay, so I've done just over an hour fiddling around with an API. I'm going to call it a day and we'll revisit this because something's going on that I need to debug that's stopping me from actually doing what I want to do. So for now, I bid you adieu and farewell and catch you later. Bye-bye.